Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're reading the book Outsmarting Reality, written by Nero Knowledge. It's a very good book, straight to the point, teaches you the basic principles and advanced things to know about creating your reality or making your reality your desired reality. It's a really good reading. It has about 20 chapters and just take your time as we go through. Read the book once, then go over it again, and then, as usual, take notes and watch his videos. They explain most of it already, but here is a concise, direct way to get some information for your use. So let's get started. Outsmarting Reality, written 2025 by Nero Knowledge, all rights reserved. Table of content, a word to the reader, forward, introduction, the old frequency, reality doesn't care if you're nice, the first step to mastering reality, sacrifice or pay the universe interest, the mechanics of the universe, the annoying law of the universe, on earth as it is in heaven. You can't outrun your frequency. Redefining manifestation. The desire of your desires. How to know exactly what action to take. Perception projection loop. You don't have beliefs. Beliefs have you. There is no creation without conviction. The law of emotion, transcend the collective, attention beats intention, prepare to be bad, the energetic ceiling on your reality, what to do when reality goes wrong. And then it concludes with an outro. A word to the reader. I am typically hired by elite 6 to 8 figure entrepreneurs, professional athletes, and Hollywood actors, not for what they publicly preach about hard work or smart strategies, but for what they will never tell you, the hidden, esoteric, and metaphysical secrets of the universe that allow them to achieve more by doing less. I am brought in to help them transcend effort entirely, to show them how to operate multidimensionally, where it is no longer about working harder or even smarter, but about stepping into a state where the universe itself seems to be on your side, where results flow effortlessly from alignment, not force. My clients have doubled, tripled, even quadrupled their revenue in weeks, landed TV shows, and accelerated their careers not by working harder or doing more, but by shifting their beliefs and aligning with the success they once chased. This is the real secret behind many of the world's elites. It is not that they are intentionally hiding from the world. The truth is, even if they did speak of it openly, most people will dismiss it because it defies the logic and beliefs that society is conditioned to accept. In a way, through this book, you have hired me. And for that, I thank you. I have not held back at all. It's an honor and truly a pleasure to share with you the knowledge usually reserved for those at the top. However, it must be made clear that this book will do no more for you than you allow it to. You will find no more in these pages than you allow yourself to find. Decide that this book will position you to alter your reality for the rest of your life, and you will position yourself to do just that. Decide that you will experience light bulb moments while reading this book, and let your mind light up. Decide that this book will be more than enough for things to change, and change will come. Forward. Written by Mama Nero. Very good, I'm telling you. When my mother was a little girl, it was a dream to be an author. I wished to make that dream come true, so I asked her to write my foreword. Thank you, Mama. I stood motionless for a moment, clutching the worn-out broom in my hand. My thoughts were far away. I stared intently at one spot near the ragged fence that separated our yard from the neighbors. I vaguely took in the ailing hedge and had not quite prospered in its duty to provide added security and privacy to us. What occupied my thought was an image of me living abroad. I saw myself working hard to support my family. My thoughts spun around to what my father had said a while ago. He told me that the only way our family's life could improve was if he were dead. Then we could do whatever we thought was best to improve our lot. I clutched the broom tighter due to an intense feeling of frustration and felt the dried grass digging into my hand. With determination, I started sweeping the leaves away. I continued this motion, my back bent, until the small area in front of the house was clean. All the while, my thoughts had transported me to an unknown land, far, far away from here. I knew back then that I was going to make it. There was no doubt in my mind. I was going to be the one to take my family out of poverty. My father was a government worker with a relatively good salary. My mother was a homemaker. However, despite my father's job, daily life was a struggle. I could feel my mother's unhappiness like a sharp knife in my side. I saw her struggling to raise us children, trying to make ends meet. I saw her pain. After my younger brother was born, she suffered from a mysterious illness that left me fearful she was going to die. I was 9 years old at the time, living in fear every day that the one person who struggled daily for our well-being might not make it. I started to pay more and more attention to her. I realized at that young age that she was suffering. In the tiny home we lived, it wasn't difficult to overhear the adults talking, arguing about money, school fees, and daily living expenses. Daydreaming became my escape. I started to imagine a better life than the one I was in, a life where I could provide a safe, loving home for my family, where all basic necessities were met and money was plentiful. This led me to dream vividly about being a millionaire. Thus, my childhood was spent watching my mother's face daily, trying to gauge the level of stress she was under, feeling powerless in the face of her misery. I vowed not to be a source of added stress to her. I began hiding anything I thought might cause her worry. When my shoes were torn, I would sit quietly in the corner and mend them with pieces of twine I had picked up near the tree where the shoe mender waited for customers. My source of joy became escaping to the only place no one else in the world could penetrate, a corner of my mind where everything was as it should be. My mother was happy, safe, and free from worry about the next meal, school fees, rent, or other basic needs. In that space, I could give her money freely, so she didn't have to worry about anything. I imagined her having more money than the so-called educated woman my father constantly compared her to. My mother's words constantly rang in my ears. She told me I could be more, do more, and most importantly, to never settle like she did. She always emphasized the importance of having a certificate in my own name. When I passed my GCSE exams, my uncle who lived abroad sent me a check for what was a substantial amount at the time as a way of congratulating me. I knew the money would solve a few immediate problems, but I wanted more than a handout. I dreamed of a job that could truly change our lives. I persisted in my vivid daydreams, seeing myself living abroad, sending money home to my mother, helping with bills, and paying my brother's school fees. I never cashed the check. Instead, I held on to it as a symbol of hope, proof that I could escape this life. My intuition told me my uncle was going to be my way out. My imaginings became more focused, more realistic. I could feel the tension in my spirit as the realization dawned that my dreams could come true. I could feel it in my bones. I withdrew into myself more and more, spending time alone with my thoughts, imagining my uncle sending for me to join his family in the UK. I felt immense joy from this exercise. This escape into my secret world became a daily routine. I used every opportunity, especially during solitary showers, to visit that wonderful life where I was able to solve all my family's financial problems and needs. Then, one day, after I had written my GCSE examinations and had started working at a shop as a shop assistant in a local shopping center, news came from my uncle. He was going to send an air ticket for me to attend university in the United Kingdom. When I heard the news, I wasn't surprised. There was no ecstatic moment of joy. What I had been waiting for had finally happened. I hastily sent a message to my school friends to say I was traveling. Then went to the capital city and arranged for a passport, which came true in a few days. Within weeks, I was in the UK. It wasn't until years later, when my son became my teacher, that I realized what had truly happened. I had a burning, overwhelming desire to succeed. That desire led me to create and cross a bridge of incidents that caused my dream to manifest into reality. Somehow, my untrained mind had caused a shift in the universe prompting my uncle and his wife to make arrangements for me to join them, making my desires come true. In a new and foreign land, I started working towards my goals, barely an adult, but already taking on responsibilities within my family, just as I'd promised myself I would. Then my son was born. Before I had even completed my nursing education, my family was disappointed in me, seeing it as a failure. But I remember my mother's words, how our own family had seen no value in educating her simply because she was a girl. They believed she would just get married and never benefit the family. I became even more determined. I completed my course while my family cared for my son. Now, I had a more pressing reason to work hard to get my child back from the parents I had entrusted him to. Over the next 20 years, I stopped listening to that inner voice of my childhood. I lost the directions to that tiny room in the corner of my mind that I used to escape to. I told myself I had no time for childish fancies. I became more concerned with surviving, solving other people's problems ahead of my own, and most importantly, being a good mother to my son, Nero. Occasionally, I will think back to that time when I held the broom in my hand, pressing hard on it while daydreaming, only to have my strongest desire come true. That moment became a reminder of what I could achieve with my thoughts alone and a strong desire. My greatest joy growing up was bending reality. I could escape to far and amazing worlds simply by opening a book and losing myself in it. I wanted my son to experience this wondrous world too. I started encouraging him to read for fun. Imagine my joy when he asked me to buy him books. That joy soon turned to mild concern when I noticed the titles he was drawn to. My son began an adventure of a lifetime. Before I knew it, he was devouring books daily, asking for one after another, all while completing his education. Even as I tried to guide him, I sensed that his energy was greater than mine. I had lived in survival mode. He did not. I became curious about the books he was reading, wondering how his mind worked, slightly perplexed by this person in front of me. Then I tried reading the books myself, and I couldn't understand a thing. Then the haze began to lift, and I started thinking again. I tried to reconnect with that part of my mind that could make the unseen real. I am currently walking through the fear of who and what I can become if I once again apply myself and harness the power of my mind as that young girl once did. I walk through the maze daily with my teacher, Nero, holding my hand, having learned that before I can change anyone else, I must first change myself. I continue my onward journey of self-discovery. I am forever a student of the universe, learning its laws and its secrets with the belief that I can partake in the banquet that is laid out before me. Quote, "Say not ye, there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes, and look on the fields, for they are white and ready to harvest. John chapter 4, verse 35. Saying things that are not yet seen as if they were seen has been the biggest lesson so far. For everything, every circumstance starts off as a thought and becomes visible for all to see. Happy learning, reader. Introduction. Outsmarting reality is like a game of chess in which you are outsmarting your old frequency. At first glance, the title of this book raises a lot of questions. What does it mean to outsmart reality? Can I outsmart reality? How do I outsmart reality? Why do I need to outsmart reality? What will I get from outsmarting reality? It may seem like something completely audacious that is beyond you. However, it is only if you are not operating from your true self. The truth is, outsmarting reality is the only way you will create your desired reality. If you cannot outsmart reality, then you will always feel like you are steps behind where you want to be in life, which I assume is already how you feel. Unfortunately, this is how the masses live, forever wishing they were in another reality, without realizing that they are simply losing a game for which they weren't given the rules. Imagine playing a game of chess without knowing how all the pieces move. Whether you realize this or not, there's another version of you that you spiritually created that desires nothing more than to remain the same at any cost, even to your own detriment. The word reality may be in the title of this book, but the truth is, it's just you. Until you can make sense of you, then nothing in your reality will make sense. For reality is no more than that you are. For reality is no more than what you are. You and your reality are one. There is no separation between you, but the unawareness of this unity is the source of your disharmony. The book isn't even about reality. No form of manifestation should ever be about reality or changing the world. It's about the only thing that matters, and that is you. That brings me to the sole purpose of this book, which is to get you to give yourself your desired reality before the world gives it to you. Whatever it is you desire to be in this life, you need to become it before the world proves it to you. I don't believe you should be worried about enlightenment, opening your third eye, ancient civilizations, the true origin of humanity, bloodlines, 5G, and psychic abilities if you're struggling to pay your bills, or worse, wishing your reality was different. Now, it may not be that extreme for you, but the basic premise of this book is, if you're not in your desired reality, then what is the point? With all due respect, you have bigger concerns. And those concerns revolve around actually living in a reality that you want. Don't get me wrong. Those things have their place, most definitely. But spirituality, without the ability to control your reality, is nothing but complete vanity. I repeat, the only aim of this book is to get you to give yourself your desired reality. With that being said, I also like to clarify that you won't find any sexy new techniques, strategies, or methods for manifesting in this book. And I put that in quotes because it's likely you have the wrong definition of what that even means. The only thing you will find are timeless principles that explain the mechanics of the universe in relation to creation and how it and you work. The final thing I'd like to make clear is that you may be holding a book, but that's not what you're reading. What you're reading is your level of consciousness and nothing more. The reason for this is that you don't see reality as it is. You only see it as you are. And you are forever evolving, forever changing. So what is revealed to you today won't be the same as next week. This book will not be your savior. You are your only savior. And this is a really good point he's making. So read the book more than once. You'll get different stuff from it at different times because your awareness actually changes and evolves from time to time and from page to page. Chapter 1, the old frequency. Principle. Your old frequency will forever be the only thing that holds you back from your new frequency. And as a result, your new reality. The moment you begin the journey of creating your desired reality, you threaten the existence of something you never knew existed. And that is your old frequency. Your old frequency is a living entity with its own psychology and its own goals. So long as you're unaware of how it thinks, you will always be a step behind it, unconsciously driven towards its goals without realizing it. Its only goal is to keep you within the old reality, the one that you are seeking to escape. All those times when it felt like your life was spiraling out of control, it was always in your control. But unfortunately, in the control of your old frequency. Before we dive into the psychology and goals of the old frequency, it's important you understand how it came into existence. The easiest way to think about your old frequency is as your doppelganger existing on the spiritual plane. An identical version of you with all your memories, all your beliefs, all your experiences, all your feelings, just with its own version of your memories, its own version of your beliefs, its own version of your experiences, and its own version of your feelings. It doesn't exist physically as you do because it resides in the spiritual plane. Hence why it has the ability to affect your reality because before anything can exist physically, it must exist vibrationally in the spiritual plane. Unfortunately, since to the ego, anything that cannot be seen does not exist, the old frequency often damages your reality without you ever even knowing. It is created out of what is called thought forms. The easiest way to conceptualize thought forms is to see them as stones representing mental and emotional energy. Imagine that every time you repeat a particular line of thinking or feel a particular emotion, a stone is placed on the ground, forming a pile. Studies have shown that the average person has anywhere from 6,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. Over time, those piles turn into mountains. Every repeated thought and emotion are a building block in the creation of an entity that will seek to exist based on what it was made from. A couple of examples should highlight this more clearly. Take the person who repeatedly complains they are unlucky. Life doesn't go their way, and they think to themselves, why me? Why always me? Note that the idea of life not going your way is an illusion. Life is always going your way. You're just unaware of your part. This repeated mental and emotional energy creates an entity. Guess what that entity's goal is? To make them unlucky. It's natural for us to wonder why the mind will do this. Does it hate me? Why is it trying to ruin my life? The entities we create are like giving birth to a blind intelligence. It is made by us and becomes addicted to the thoughts and emotions it is breastfed. In the instance of the unlucky individual, the emotions that made and breastfed the entity were frustration, irritation, anger, apathy, sadness, and depletion. The entity is like a spiritual parasite. It sustains itself by feeding off the emotions that created it. So it will sway the events of your reality to generate those emotions within you, even if this leads to your own destruction. It's important not to become annoyed by the entity. After all, it is your own making and is blindly operating from the intelligence given to it by you. What the mind has done, it can undo, no matter the reality. Within this third dimensional realm, we are subject to the law of polarity, the concept that everything exists has its energetic opposite. So within this third dimensional realm, we are subject to the law of polarity, the concept that everything that exists has its energetic opposite. Here are some of the most common examples: masculine, feminine, negative, positive, rich, poor, lucky, unlucky. If someone can create negative entities that contradict their desired reality, they can just as easily create positive entities that contribute towards their desired reality. Some people are regarded as lucky. Life always seems to bend to their will and things always goes right for them. These individuals simply exist within an entity that seeks to keep them lucky and feeds off their joy, happiness, and amazement. A close friend of mine who grew up believing she wasn't good looking eventually decided to see herself as the most beautiful woman ever. Now, wherever she goes, men are constantly chasing her, approaching her and eager to do anything for her. Whether she realizes it or not, she's created an energetic presence, an entity that influences how others perceive her. This entity is sustained by the thoughts and emotions she holds about herself. And in turn, it reflects those beliefs back through the way others respond to her. As you go through life, you're going to have many different phases, and in every one, an entity is created that will seek to maintain that phase. If you're financially struggling, there is an entity that seeks to maintain that. If you're in a bad relationship, there's an entity that seeks to maintain that. If you're unfit, there's an entity that seeks to maintain that. The old frequency is directly connected with the old version of you, which is directly connected with the old reality, the very one you're trying to escape. Until you know how your old frequency thinks, you will be a step behind every time without ever knowing why. Understanding its aim is imperative. The goal of the old frequency is simple, and that is to exist. The old version of you will stop at nothing, even if it means your destruction and total misery, to shift from the spiritual to material. Ultimately, like other spirits or entities, it wants to become one with your reality. I can't emphasize this enough. It will do whatever it takes. Now, we have defined its aim. Let's shift our focus to its psychology, which has 4 characteristics. These qualities are nothing more than a humanistic conceptualization meant to provide a more relatable, simple understanding. 1. Your old frequency is needy. To put it quite simply, the old frequency of you is an attention seeker. It is desperate for your attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. If the old version of you can capture your attention, even if only temporarily, it has opened the door to get back in. Concentration precedes vibration. Vibration precedes frequency, and frequency precedes reality. Through your attention, it can nourish itself. Focus is a centralization of energy, and the old version of you knows this, so it will sway events, circumstances, conditions, and even people in your reality to reflect the old reality, all to get you to redirect your energy towards it, specifically your emotional energy. Emotion is energy, so it always seeks to extract it in a manner reflective of what you've got it accustomed to. The old frequency must feed, and it will do so at any cost because it wants to exist. It likes to stay alive. It is needy because it's been with you during all the low moments of your life, whether you knew it or not. Even though it was feeding off you, it is the best friend that occasionally ruins your life. 2. Sadistic. Your old frequency is a sadist. The old version of you is a sadist. It loves pain, sadness, frustration, irritation, and annoyance, because that's the energy it feeds off. It rejoices in your suffering and all the very emotions you are attempting to leave behind. It's likely that during times of adversity, these were the predominant emotions occupying you, which are like a drug to the old frequency. It sustains itself with them. Remember too that emotions act as a glue that sticks you to the old frequency, ultimately binding you to your old reality. The old version of you is you, so it knows exactly which buttons to press to trigger the emotions it craves. The moment you start feeling too calm, too peaceful, or begin shifting towards a new reality, that's when it strikes. It's not random. It's a calculated pullback designed to stir up the most emotional resistance possible and keep you anchored in the familiar. So the idea of change seems like a hopeless dream. 3. Scared. Your old frequency is scared. The old version of you likes existing, so the thought of not existing frightens it. And ultimately, this is the beginning of a trap which captures many of us. Sensing its own potential extinction, the old version of you will project its fear onto you the moment you begin striving for more or moving in a new direction. As you shift into the frequency of your desired reality, it attempts to make you unconsciously associate that change with fear, so you will hesitate, retreat, or self-sabotage. It's a defense mechanism designed to keep you tethered to the familiar and prevent your evolution into a better reality. It also knows that once you feel fear, it's only a matter of time before that fear begins to negatively alter your frequency, since fear is nothing more than ignorant faith, which then eventually alters your reality. Fear is like a guiding light for what you don't want to navigate the universe, so it can find you. Due to the emotional strength of fear, it ultimately overshadows the frequency sent out for your desired reality, taking over to manifest the worst. That fear of change is not yours. It belongs to the old frequency, which tricks you into thinking it's yours, so you don't move forward. 4. Your old frequency is reactive. The old version of you is extremely reactive. But the irony is that it is reactive to its own creation. Once again, this is the beginning of a very dangerous but calculated cycle. Since the old version of you is in opposition to the creation of your desired reality, it will cause adversity in your reality while also short-circuiting your thinking to shut down the potential of any higher levels of awareness, which is seeing reality clearly beyond illusion. It ultimately doesn't want you to be aware of the true nature of reality and what is going on. It wants you to be caught up in the whirlwind of chaos so you never become aware, because all transmutation first begins with awareness. It will project its tendency to quickly react to circumstances, conditions, events, and people, so there's no time for awareness, so there's no transmutation. It's important to note that emotion is the most powerful energy source in the universe. And so the old version will seek an emotional reaction from you. That is all it wants. Every time you emotionally react, you are strengthening and reinforcing the old frequency. Emotion is a supercharger of frequency, and so you are supercharging the old reality. Always remember, on the car journey to your desired reality, emotionally reacting to the old version of you and ultimately the old reality will take you on a detour back to it. Practical. Awareness is the only way you'll escape the clutches of your old frequency. The moment you are aware, a pathway that was once hidden opens itself up, giving you the option to live by design instead of default. Within the adversity that reality presents to you, there is a choice, and that is to live by default or by design. Default pertains to the old frequency that expects you to react. So every time you react, you are working according to default. Reacting to reality will always lead to the old frequency. Design pertains to the new frequency that expects you to respond. Response comes from awareness. So responding to reality will always lead to the new frequency. The difference between reacting and responding is life and death. Reacting is death, and responding is life. To rise to your desired reality, you must rise above reaction into response, from default to design. Let's examine how the old frequency perceives reacting. Reacting is to allow the external nature of reality to imbalance your internal state. That is, allowing external to throw your internal state out of balance. You're being wired to think that you react to reality, but the truth is, reality reacts to you. The internal is a reflector. So, ironically, once it is swayed, it will lead to the swaying of the external. And this is the beginning of a cycle in which too many are trapped. To simplify the point being made here, an imbalance of the internal creates everything you don't like. By responding instead of reacting, you allow your internal state to balance the external nature of reality. Internal balance ultimately leads to a balanced reality, no matter what is presented. Responding is simply the act of viewing your current adversity through the lens of your desired reality, reframing the situation to be in alignment with where you're going, not where you are. How will the version of you in your desired reality look at this? How will the version of you in your desired reality feel about this? How will the version of you in your desired reality think about this? If you can keep these questions at the top of your mind while experiencing adversity, the blur on your lenses caused by that chaos will begin to clear. Chapter 2. Reality doesn't care if you are nice. Principle. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why do people with the biggest hearts suffer the most? What of justice? We all wish we lived in a world where God rewarded the good and punished the evil, but a quick look around shows the opposite to be true. Denial of this truth is nothing more than cognitive dissonance. To most of us, it just doesn't make sense. And that's because we're making the mistake of thinking like a human instead of thinking like the universe. The universe itself is nothing more than a system, a collection of laws that operate indiscriminately to humans. To say it more simply, when it comes to the reality that you create, the universe doesn't care if you're good or bad. The universe is unapologetically equal to all, regardless of age, regardless of circumstances, and unfortunately, regardless of morality. When it comes to reality, the only thing the universe registers is frequency, or the state of consciousness that you are occupying. This constructs the world you live in. Your frequency, your state of consciousness, that is what constructs the world you live in. This unfortunate spiritual truth seems somewhat disheartening, but remember that spiritual itself means beyond the physical. It refers to beyond the third dimensional realm, which means beyond all constructs within it, such as morality, ultimately meaning they do not apply. Morality is a human construct that has been spiritualized and commercialized to make us think that being good people entitles us to the reward of a good life. It should, but it doesn't. You need to stop thinking like a human and more like the universe. To do so, You must observe how the universe actually operates, rather than how you think it should. The law and energy of the universe highlights as clear as day the bittersweet truth that we delude ourselves. Fire will treat the good and the evil the same. Rain will treat the good and the evil the same. Gravity will treat the good and the evil the same. Electricity will treat the good and the evil the same. Now apply this to the law of creation. Whatever frequency you emit will be reflected. Whatever your state of consciousness will be materialized. Whatever is within will eventually be without. The universe has never hidden how it works from us. Through our own cognitive dissonance, we've hidden how it works from ourselves, preferring to cling to the illusion of a cosmic justice without realizing the universe interprets justice as frequency, and it will never lie to you. To be clear, I do not want to live in a world without morals, respect, and integrity. Morality must exist for society to run harmoniously, but it is not enough to be a good person. The universe doesn't reward good people. It rewards those who reward themselves with a frequency which complements their desired reality. No more, no less. The true issue here isn't how the universe operates, but how we've been taught it does. Most of us were raised with the idea that if we do good, we will experience good. But life happens and confusion hits. We do good deeds, we help others, we show love and kindness, but we still suffer. You can have good morals, but with a bad mind, badness will be created every time. You can have bad morals, but with a good mind, goodness will be created every time. There's nothing wrong with being a good person. In fact, it should be encouraged. But don't think for a second that being a good person qualifies you for your desired reality. The only thing that qualifies you for your desired reality is the frequency of your desired reality. It seems as if the nicest people often have the worst frequencies, often creating the worst realities. They are riddled with low confidence, low self-belief, doubt, fear, worries, stresses, without realizing each one of these components contributes to a frequency that corresponds to a reality of nothing but suffering, struggle, failure, misery, and misfortune. On the other hand, it seems as if the most evil people often have the best frequencies, ultimately creating the best realities. They are brimming with ironclad confidence, self-belief, conviction, certainty, and power, without realizing each one of these or those components contribute to a frequency that responds to a reality of nothing but success, power, prosperity, peace, and fortune. How often do we admire powerful, successful people in society, overlooking their unpleasant or immoral ways as we wallow in our virtues and suffering? The conclusion often mistakenly made is that success is directly intertwined with evil, and those who are successful must be immoral. But that is nothing more than a projection of someone's level of consciousness and their preconceived notions, which are a result of programming or self-validation. The success of their realities is a result of frequency alone. You don't have to like it, but you'll be wise to accept it. Or you can keep deluding yourself with the idea that a man-made construct exists to the universe. The only thing that exists to the universe are universal constructs. You can't escape these, as you are a walking universe, a microcosm of it, a reflection of it. You are bound by the laws of the universe because they are within you. The nature of the universe is esoterically depicted in the Bible in 2 verses. First, that ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh the sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. Matthew 5:45. Whether the evil or the good, the just or the unjust, the rain doesn't discriminate. This can be seen across the universe, its laws and energies. Rain doesn't target certain people. It doesn't do a criminal check or a credit check or a criminal background check. And it definitely doesn't measure your good deeds. The second one is Acts 10:34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, in truth, I perceive that God shows no partiality. The esoteric nature of this verse is revealed when you conceptualize God as consciousness, which is the substance of reality. Consciousness, not showing partiality, makes it impartial. Once again, referring to the idea that all treatment is equal and the impersonal nature of consciousness, which simply reflects itself into reality. Entering your desired reality isn't about becoming a righteous person. It's about becoming the right person to the universe, and that is it. Your morals do not dictate whether you deserve your desired reality, but your frequency does. Have you matched the energy of your desired reality? That is all that matters. You will forever remain in the quicksand of suffering, struggle, misfortune, and misery if you moralize the universe. You are communicating in a language it doesn't speak. But that's not even the worst part. Our notion of good and bad is nothing more than adhering to the illusion of polarity. It is a confession of our ignorance that everything is one, everyone is one, and there is no separation. This dooms us to the reality in which we trap ourselves. The universe doesn't recognize good or bad because the concept of separation only exists to us. Even on a humanistic level, good or bad is subjective, but the operation of the universe is totally objective. We normally moralize the universe in a state of frustration, irritation, apathy, or anger. We call out the universe or the heavens. Why don't we have what we deserve? Why, despite being good people, we're still suffering? What did we do to deserve this reality? This emits a frequency which the universe simply magnifies, plunging us deeper into the very state we hate so much. This is why those who believe they deserve better will die believing so. Their reality will not change until they realize they are playing the wrong game. You can't plead your case with the universe on why you deserve a different reality. You must become different. You must emit a different frequency. This universal truth is somewhat disillusioning, but please don't become apathetic or use it as an excuse to be an impolite, unkind, and unpleasant person. Do not forget that every individual you meet is simply the same consciousness with a different physical expression. They are you, just with another mask that God is wearing. The way you treat, think, and feel about people is ultimately what you are inviting onto yourself from a point of frequency. That doesn't mean if you do X to someone, X will be done to you. It means a frequency resonant of X will be with you because you've done it to yourself. Assuming you are a good person, uphold your morals, be polite, and be kind. Just make sure that the frequency you're putting out to the universe aligns with your desired reality. That's all the universe cares about. This is a wake-up call. Stop thinking like a human and start thinking like the universe. Chapter 3. The first step towards mastering reality. Principle. How can you control reality if you can't even control yourself? How can you expect reality to submit to you if you can't even submit to yourself? How can you expect reality to listen to your commands if you can't even listen to your commands? There is no way around it. The first step to controlling your reality is through controlling yourself. Through self-mastery, what you truly master is reality. And that is because you and reality are one. It is the same entity, simply existing on different levels. The most unused word in the manifestation space is discipline. There is no manifestation without self-mastery. There is no manifestation without self-discipline. Nothing is compartmentalized in the mind, and as a result, nothing is hidden to the universe. More often than not, what is reflected in the universe is weakness within. Most people that struggle to manifest don't have difficulty with anything other than mastering themselves, and as a result, struggle to master reality. Truthfully, you do not have a discipline problem. In fact, nobody has a discipline problem. The true problem is that you are disciplined by the old frequency and not the new one. You are disciplined in how you see the world. You are disciplined in how you see people. You are disciplined in how you label reality. You are disciplined in how you react to reality. You are disciplined in how you think. You're disciplined in how you feel. You're disciplined in how you focus on certain things. To live a life that you don't like requires discipline to maintain the frequency of that life. In the same way, to live a life that you do like requires discipline to maintain the frequency of that life. Discipline isn't an issue, but the irony is there are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. When you decide you have no discipline, that is what materializes in your reality. Recognize how disciplined you have been in order to maintain the old frequency so consistently, and you truly realize how powerful you are. Ironically, the old frequency likes to project the idea that you are weak and lack discipline. So you emit the frequency of weakness as you attempt to materialize your realized reality while hiding the power and strength you have to maintain it. That is the old frequency. You are more disciplined than you think, and it's your failure to realize this that results in your failed attempts to discipline the new frequency into reality. Until you recognize the power of that discipline, you will not be able to redirect it towards where you truly want to go. It seems as though spirituality has become some sort of escapism for those who wish to be liberated from responsibility and discipline. But understand, you will never create your desired reality without them. That is responsibility and discipline. Laziness will be tolerated by your old frequency, but not your new frequency. Self-mastery is the only path to your new frequency, and there is no self-mastery without self-discipline, which means there is no manifestation without self-discipline. All self-mastery can be summarized with one line: the ability to follow through on your own conscious commands. Do what you say you will do. To simplify, it's following through on your own word and establishing your word as law. There are many spiritual paths and different schools of thought that pursue self-mastery differently, but at their core, they can be boiled down to following through on your conscious direction. How can you expect to command the universe if you can't even command yourself? Through commanding yourself, you command the universe. Commanding ourselves at times can feel like a battle, and in a way, it is, because the old frequency has taken hold of the ego and merged with it to a point where they are indistinguishable. In the esoteric, the ego isn't a negative trait, as society might define it. Rather, it's simply the aspect of you that is confined to the physical plane, rooted in the five senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. The ego is nothing more than a vehicle. I want to make it clear. The ego is not the enemy, unless you perceive it to be so, which then sets in motion you experiencing it as so. It is the physical expression of the God consciousness. The ego is a vehicle used to get you from one reality to another. You are not your body. Instead, you animate this avatar you call your body, which is the ego. The ego has been given many names across cultures. To the religious, the devil. To Buddhists, the monkey mind. To spiritualists, the lower self. To scientists, the primal brain. The name is irrelevant. Master it or it will master you. And remember, if it does, due to its merging with the old frequency, what will truly master you is the old frequency. Mastery of reality begins with mastery of the self, and that begins with controlling the ego. It's the ability to impose your will over the default mode of operation. You have a way of seeing the world. You have a way of seeing people. You have a way of labeling reality. You have a way of reacting to reality. You have a way of thinking. You have a way of feeling. You have a way of focusing on certain things. All of the above is your default mode of operation, which can only result in the default frequency being emitted, which can only result in the default reality. As mentioned earlier, the basis of self-mastery is your ability to follow through on your own conscious direction and commands. Practical. Establish your word as law. There can be no ifs, buts, or maybes. Your command in your life is your final say. The moment something arises that must be done, you have no choice but to get it done, because whether you realize this or not, like this or not, the mind is forever keeping score. The mind keeps track of all the instances where you say you'll do something and then you don't do it. Then it notes that down as, quote, ITFT, end quote, for inability to follow through. The more ITFTs you get, the less your mind trusts you, which means the less the universe trusts you, which decreases the materialization of your desired reality. Conversely, the mind also keeps track of all the instances where you say you'll do something and then you do it. Then it notes that down as ATFT, which means ability to follow through. The more ATFTs you get, the more your mind trusts you, which means the more the universe trusts you, which increases the materialization of your desired reality. If your own mind is against you, then it will feel like the world is against you, because your mind and the world are one. So it's best you get your mind on your side. A harmonious mind is the only blueprint to a harmonious reality. If you say, I will wake up at 7 a.m., you must do so. If you decide to complete a task, you must do so. Whatever the task, establish your word as law. Being your own dictator is the only way you will have the ability to dictate your reality. It's never about the task itself. The truth is, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the significance of you consciously directing yourself. The issue is that we often establish the word of others as law instead of our own word, which positions them to indirectly dictate the laws of our life. Here are some examples of when you prioritize the word of others over your own. At work, you do as you're told. In your family, you do as you're told. When someone needs something, you do it. When someone needs you to show up for something, you show up. At what point will you do as you are told, but by you? At what point will you do something when you need it to be done? At what point will you show up for yourself when you need to? When you keep putting off things in your life without realizing it, you are actually putting off self-mastery, which indirectly results in putting off your new frequency. List all the things you've been putting off and begin to change now. There's no more to it than that. It is quite literally that simple. Understand that the complications or complexity that is stopping you from seeing that is coming from the old frequency, which wants to stay. Self-mastery is a mandatory, unavoidable, non-negotiable prerequisite to mastery over reality. How could you ever expect to master your reality when you have not mastered yourself? You cannot. And to think so is to be ignorant of the nature of the universe. Many are undisciplined, yet attempt to discipline the universe. They struggle, never realizing their lack of discipline is reflected into the universe. There is no separation between your mind and the universe. Remember that. The way you govern yourself is how the universe will govern you. And so long as you are a slave to yourself, you will be a slave to reality. You need to transcend the lower parts of yourself to live in the heights of your dreams. You may have God within you, but that doesn't qualify you. You must cultivate the God within you by cultivating self-mastery. You will never control your reality until you can control yourself. Below, I have outlined my personal journey towards self-mastery. 1. Meditation. Meditation is the cornerstone of spiritual self-mastery. It involves withdrawing attention from the outer world and turning it inward. The ego is addicted to constant stimulation, notification, noises, or movement. The ego will rebel during meditation. You might feel the urge to twitch, scratch, or open your eyes. This resistance is the ego craving stimulation. By practicing stillness with your eyes closed for just 20 minutes daily, you begin to assert dominance over the ego. It is through stillness that you enter the inner dimension, also known as the temple of God, and begin to connect to the infinite, which allows you to extract from the infinite. Quote, "Be still and know that I am God." End quote. Psalm 46, verse 10. When the ego whispers excuses like, "Something is wrong, just open your eyes," resist. This practice builds the very discipline that you will use to alter your reality. Intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is another effective tool I use. Fasting denies the ego a fundamental desire, which is food. By fasting, you teach the ego patience and exercise basic control. When your ego demands satisfaction, respond with, "Not yet." It has no choice but to comply. Each act of control primes the ego to take commands from you, making future challenges easier to conquer. Over time, you find it hard to return to old habits because the benefits of mastery become undeniable. Be safe and seek medical advice if necessary. Silence. The practice of silence is transformative. Silence suppresses the ego's desire to be heard, a primal need embedded in us from infancy. Babies cry for attention, and as adults, we still crave that validation and expression. Practicing silence halts this craving. Monks often incorporate silence into their discipline because it strips the ego of its need for attention. It's a powerful form of ego deprivation. Start small. Set aside short periods during your day to remain silent. Even if you live with others, just tell them, "I'm mastering reality." Not everybody's pathway to self-mastery will be the same. So, it must be your own. Yours could be going to the gym. Yours could be replying to messages on time. Yours could be not being late anymore. Yours could be sticking to your diet. Yours could be not drinking or only having one drink. Yours could be not shouting. At a base level, it consists of simply doing what you know you should do and not doing what you know you shouldn't be doing. Self-mastery isn't only compartmentalized into spiritual practices. The deep esoteric truth is that everything in reality is spiritual, meaning practiced in any aspect is self-mastery. It is your inability to see that which limits the self-mastery you are able to extract. Your pathway to self-mastery can only be found in your life by following through on the things you wish to do or change and executing them swiftly. There's one question lurking in the depths of your mind that is stagnating the energy of your new frequency, blocking it from fully arriving, and it will silently eat away at you until you begin. Are you the individual that deserves the reality you desire? Until you can answer that question with a yes, reality will keep saying no. 4. Sacrifice or pay the universe interest. Principle. The compound interest of the universe will either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The most dangerous thing in the universe is to not know how it works. Unfortunately, most people live their lives never understanding that their frequency is being multiplied. Now, one of the most critical fundamentals is what I call the universal compound. Take the concept of compound interest. Compound interest just means you get money on your money, and then you get money on that money too, and it just keeps going. Albert Einstein, who called it the eighth wonder of the world, said, quote, "He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." Like a snowball rolling downhill, it gets bigger and bigger. Universal compound is the same thing, just with frequency. The more a frequency multiplies, the more solid it becomes, which solidifies it into reality. With an understanding of that phenomenon on a universal level, you have the opportunity to earn your desired reality or pay the price. The longer one is in a particular frequency, the more opportunity that frequency will have to materialize reality as a condition, circumstance, or event. After materializing into reality, it now has the opportunity to be an emotionally intense experience. Since emotion is the language of the subconscious mind, it will reinforce itself deeper and deeper into the subconscious mind. The longer you are in a frequency, the more it materializes and solidifies its existence into your mind. This can be extrapolated to any experience in reality, whether financial, romantic, health, or career related. A simple snowball that gains momentum eventually becomes an avalanche, and it's the same with your frequency. The unfortunate part about life is that people experience adversity due to nothing more than the universal pendulum swinging back and forth. But then, what should have been only a momentary experience into their reality. Emotion is the breeding ground for the universal compound effect to take place. When the energy of emotion gains momentum, it multiplies and strengthens, eventually becoming reality. Momentum is just consistency, and consistency is a form of alchemy. Consistency is what takes a single vibration and gives it enough momentum to become a rhythm, which becomes a frequency that then becomes a reality. You can either build positive energetic momentum or negative energetic momentum. Regardless of who you are or whether it is negative or positive, the universe will multiply that frequency. It will just do what it does. That is what Christ meant in Matthew 13:12, which says, quote, "Whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them." End quote. The esoteric nature of this verse is all about your energetic momentum. The frequency that you have will be multiplied, whether that works for or against you. The universe is impersonal in its operation. This could offer metaphysical insight into why the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. The universal compound reveals an unfortunate truth, which is that those who tend to suffer spend the rest of their lives trapped in that suffering because of the universe compounding their frequency. A snowball that gains momentum has the potential to cause an avalanche. A small wind that gains momentum has the potential to become a tornado. The old frequency that you wish to detach from has compounded, and as a result has been expressed through the conditions, circumstances, events, and people in your life. The old frequency has been able to extract plenty of emotion out of you, and so long as it continues to do so, it will multiply itself. Until you sacrifice the old frequency, there will not be enough space for the new one. Throughout all civilizations, from the beginning of time, it has been understood that to receive something from God or the universe, a sacrifice must be made. In ancient Egypt, Kemet, and Mesopotamia, people made offerings of food, animals, or valuables to deities to gain favor, protection, or abundance. Temples were built as grand acts of devotion to secure blessings. In many religious traditions, fasting is a form of sacrifice to purify oneself and receive divine insight or blessings. For example, in Christianity, Lent involves giving up pleasures, an act of devotion. In Islam, Ramadan is a month of fasting that strengthens spiritual connection. Even in the 21st century, in a non-religious context, the principle still applies. To achieve success, people often sacrifice comfort, time, and immediate gratification. The point is clear. Sacrifice is an inescapable demand of the universe. Sacrifice typically has negative connotations and is associated with evil and harm, but it is a fundamental law of the universe that is unavoidable, especially in the context of entering your desired reality. Sacrifice is simply another way of saying exchange. The prerequisite to your materializing your desired reality is you sacrificing, that is, exchanging your old for a new frequency. You must play by the rules of the universe to win the game. And a foundational truth is that the universe does not operate by creating something from nothing. You will never gain something from nothing. Nothing will never produce something. For something to be gained, something must be exchanged, sacrificed. This is fractal throughout nature, from photosynthesis to the food chain, to the nitrogen cycle. At every point, there is an exchange. This is also fractal within the very fabric of your being. You sacrifice one breath to receive another. The universe is forever in a rhythmic exchange. And since you are a microcosm of the universe, that means you are in a constant rhythmic exchange. What you exchange is frequency. You are in a constant cycle of exchanging frequencies for realities and realities for frequencies. This is the nature of the universe. To receive a new reality simply requires you to sacrifice your current reality. The issue is that unconsciously, more than likely, you don't want to sacrifice your current reality, but not for the reasons you think. Whether you realize this or not, the most addictive substance in the universe isn't any man-made drug. It's frequency. This is why people stay in the same cycles for a long time despite wanting to break free. This is why people stay in bad situations for a long time despite knowing better. This is why change feels uncomfortable even when it's for the better, because the mind craves the familiarity of its current frequency. It's simply an addiction to frequency. Everybody on the planet is addicted to one frequency or the other, but without recognizing this, you will never know why. Despite wanting better, getting better feels uncomfortable. The longer you spend in a frequency, the more opportunity you have to experience an emotionally intense reality which reinforces that condition deeper into your subconscious, which solidifies it into your reality. Many are not ready to give up their old frequency for the new, which logically doesn't make sense, but begins to form a metaphysical, energetic perspective. For something new, a sacrifice must be made, and that sacrifice is you. The reality you desire requires a new frequency, and so long as you maintain your old one, you maintain the old reality. You must be willing to give up everything you've been for what you could be. Sacrifice is giving up something of a lower nature for something of a higher nature. In the same manner that the caterpillar gives up its identity to transform into a butterfly, so must you be willing to give up your old frequency for the new reality. This revelation presents an opportunity for self-reflection. Are you willing to give up your old frequency for your desired reality? This is something only you can answer. Altering your entire reality is no light-hearted gesture. It is radical. Giving up the old frequency might mean giving up the people associated with it. Giving up the old frequency might mean giving up the fun parts of it. Giving up the old frequency might mean giving up the aspects of it that have brought you comfort. You can't sit in two chairs at once. It is either the old frequency or the new frequency. Once you give up everything you know, you will realize that the only reason you knew it was because unconsciously you were holding on to it. Practical. As stated, you must sacrifice the old frequency, which is simply a matter of giving up the 7 keys that make frequency. Clinging to the old frequency puts you in energetic cuffs, which renders you unable to move. First key, you must be willing to give up your current beliefs of what it is you desire to free yourself from the old frequency and move towards the new frequency. 2, you must be willing to give up your current conviction of what it is you desire to free yourself from the old frequency and move towards the new frequency. 3, you must be willing to give up your current perception of what it is you desire to free yourself from the old frequency and move towards the new frequency. 4, you must be willing to give up your current emotionally charged thoughts of what it is you desire to free yourself from the old frequency and move towards the new frequency. 5, you must be willing to give up your current focus on what it is you desire to free yourself from the old frequency and move towards the new frequency. 6, you must be willing to give up your current reactions to what it is you desire to free yourself from the old frequency and move towards the new frequency. 7, you must be willing to give up your current expectations of what it is you desire to free yourself from the old frequency and move towards the new frequency. Decide now that everything that used to be will never be your reality. This will require you to be aware of the instances in your life when you begin to slip back into the old frequency. This awareness can only come by making the decision to be aware. The uncomfortable truth is that we purposely dismiss awareness because we don't want to be aware. As said many times, ignorance is bliss, but it is also your imprisoner. 5, the mechanics of the universe. Principle. The universe does not want you to change. And it's all because of the 2 M's. People rarely break out of their cycles. Those who grow up in a certain set of circumstances typically spend their lives in similar or literally the same circumstances, whether that's financial, romantic, or professional. At times, it can feel like there is a greater force at play. No matter how much we try to change, it just feels like something wants us to stay the same. That something is the universe. As stated at the beginning of this chapter, the universe does not want you to change. And there's a couple reasons for this. 1, the universe is a system. And like all systems, it functions best with predictability and minimal deviation. 2, it is efficient, favoring whatever is most convenient and requires the least effort. 3, by default, it follows the path of least resistance, always seeking to maintain the current state with minimal change. And 4, as already mentioned, the universe strives for energetic equilibrium, a state of balance. Once something is calibrated to a certain frequency, it will naturally work to preserve that level. These reasons form the basis of the 2 M's of the universe. The first M is magnify. Whatever frequency you put out to the universe, it will seek to magnify by using people, conditions, events, and circumstances. Understand that there is nothing more addictive in the universe than frequency. Frequency transcends any drug that we humans are capable of making. It is the most addictive substance in the universe. The universe itself is addicted to whatever is sustaining it, and it will get as much juice from the squeeze as possible at any cost, even to your detriment. Remember, The largest shareholder of your frequency is emotion. So the universe will magnify your most common emotional state. If you are in a state of anger, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you angrier. If you are in a state of stress, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you more stressed. If you're in a state of worry, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you more worried. If you're in a state of shame, the universe will use people, conditions, circumstances, and events to make you more ashamed. If you're in a state of scarcity, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you have less. If you're in a state of guilt, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you more guilty. If you're in a state of fear, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you more fearful. And of course, vice versa. If you're in a state of joy, the universe will use people, conditions, and events to make you more joyful. If you're in a state of calm, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you calmer. If you're in a state of happiness, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you happier. If you're in a state of gratitude, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you more grateful. If you're in a state of love, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you more loving. If you're in a state of abundance, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you have more. If you're in a state of security, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to make you more secure. It is addicted to your emotion. As a result, it will purposely sway your reality, whether negatively or positively, which is solely dependent on your output. It seeks to get its fix through you. Remind yourself constantly that the universe is reacting to your frequency. You are not a victim of life. Life is a victim of you and the frequency you give. The universe is a frequency addict. The second M. The second M of the universe is maintaining. To revert to energetic equilibrium, the universe likes balance. It also likes efficiency and predictability. To ensure all of that, it will seek to maintain your frequency. It will do everything in its power to keep you calibrated at your existing level just to make its own life easier. If you are in a state of anger, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of anger. If you are in a state of stress, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of stress. If you're in a state of worry, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of worry. If you're in a state of shame, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of shame. If you're in a state of scarcity, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of scarcity. If you are in a state of guilt, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of guilt. If you're in a state of fear, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of fear. And of course, again, vice versa. If you're in a state of joy, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of joy. If you're in a state of calm, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of calm. If you're in a state of happiness, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of happiness. If you're in a state of gratitude, the universe will use people, circumstances, events, and conditions to keep you in a state of gratitude. If you're in a state of love, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of love. If you're in a state of abundance, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of abundance. If you're in a state of security, the universe will use people, conditions, events, and circumstances to keep you in a state of security. The nature of the universe seeking to maintain our frequency is esoterically explained again in Matthew 13:12. For whosoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has, will be taken away from him. This will metaphysically explain why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Everything that takes place externally is in the realm of effect, which would include the things normally attributed to the wealthy, such as financial literacy and monopolization of assets and opportunities. For those who are rich, the universe will seek to magnify and then maintain their riches. Simultaneously, for those who are poor, the universe will seek to magnify and maintain their poverty. These two mechanisms of the universe can indeed be frustrating. Why does it seem so difficult to switch frequencies and switch realities? Don't make the mistake of thinking switching realities is difficult, because believing it will make it so. It will require some initial effort before momentum is built. The longer you spend in your new frequency, the more it compounds, the stronger it gets, and so the more addicted the universe becomes to it. Then it seeks to magnify and maintain it for you. Simple, isn't it? Consistency is a form of alchemy. So decide that switching realities will be easy and require minimal effort, and you will experience it as so. Most people live their lives feeling as if they are trapped in the same cycles, unaware of the two M's. The universe likes cycles. They are predictable and efficient. The truth is, you will never be able to break the cycle. You will always find yourself in a cycle that is inescapable, and to desire or devise will only result in frustration and failure. The alchemist never attempts to go against the nature of the universe, but will use the nature of the universe against itself for his benefit. And so you must not attempt to break any cycle. Like the alchemist, you learn to use the nature of the universe to your benefit. You must switch cycles. The law of energy conservation states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Rather, it can only be transformed or transferred from one form to another. Extrapolate these to the cycles in which we are stuck. Cycles can neither be created nor destroyed. Rather, they can only be transformed or transferred from one form to another. It's not about creating new cycles or destroying old ones, but simply switching the cycles you are in for another. Practical. The first step to freeing yourself from the cycle in which you are trapped is becoming more aware. Awareness will always be the prerequisite to any form of transformation. In relation to the two M's, you must become aware of what is first being magnified, and eventually maintained. Before desiring for reality to change, see that you have first changed. It is vain to be dissatisfied with reality, but satisfied with yourself. What is your day-to-day mood? What is your daily attitude? What is your base emotional state? Until you become aware of these things and clearly define them, you do not possess the necessary faculties to switch from your current cycle or condition of reality to another. Honesty is a must. You can lie to others, but you can never lie to the universe. It will show you the truest indication of who you are in the depths of your mind. Do you feel defeated? Do you feel irritated? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel worried? Do you feel inadequate? Do you feel angry? Do you feel sad? Do you feel ashamed? Do you feel guilty? Assuming you feel stuck in a cycle of reality you don't like, chances are you are feeling one or more of these. If you want to manifest something specific, what is your day-to-day mood in reference to it? Let's say you want to attract a romantic partner. Do you feel unlovable? Do you feel ugly? Do you feel unseen? Do you feel unappreciated? Do you feel lonely? Or let's say you want a better job. Do you feel unqualified for that position? Do you feel undeserving of that position? Do you feel unseen by your colleagues? Or let's say you want more money. Do you worry about your financial security? Do you feel like money hates you? Determine how you feel. If you pinpoint it accurately enough, you will see that very feeling reflected, magnified, and maintained in the universe. After awareness, the next step is transformation. This is a simple process of changing the way you are feeling on a day-to-day basis to an energetic opposite, polarity. Polarity, also known as duality, is simply about separation and the truth that everything within our third dimensional realm has energetic opposites. For example, hot, cold, masculine, feminine, negative, positive. Everything has its complementary energetic opposite. Remember that you are never stuck with only one option or condition of reality, despite what it would like you to believe. The way that you've been consistently feeling has an energetic opposite, which is the same energy, just vibrating at a different rate. As long as you can alter your rate of vibration, you can alter your frequency, ultimately altering your reality. So it's like a pole. On one side is positive, on the other side is negative. Just like your battery, you have the positive and the negative. They're the same energy, but vibrating at two rates of vibration. So every emotion you have has an energetic opposite. So after you've accurately pinpointed your base mood, the next step is altering your vibration. Altering your vibration is simply a matter of altering your concentration. Whether you realize this or not, you've been concentrating on aspects of your unwanted reality that reflect the very same feelings you feel trapped by. This is how the cycle continues. Think of polarities like living entities. Both polarities fight for as much energy as possible. So they are both pulling you to their sides. When one has received some energy, it will convince you that the other polarity doesn't exist, so as to siphon as much as it can from you. Those who feel like a burden, for some reason, can't conceptualize that it's possible to feel cherished. Those who feel stressed, for some reason, can't conceptualize that it's possible to feel peaceful. Those who feel rejected, for some reason, can't conceptualize that it's possible to feel accepted. Those who feel unwanted, for some reason, can't conceptualize that it's possible to feel wanted. The polarity that is focused upon will eventually present itself as the only thing on the menu, hiding the truth that there is another option that can be chosen just as easily. So awareness of this misdirection of energy is the prerequisite to transmuting and experiencing the energy you wish to see reflected in reality. Assuming you've come to the conclusion of wanting to get rid of the feeling you've been maintaining, you must now identify its complementary energetic polarity, opposite. If on a daily basis you feel unseen, the complementary energetic polarity will be feeling seen. If on a daily basis you feel unappreciated, the complementary energetic polarity will be feeling appreciated. If on a daily basis you feel like a burden, the complementary energetic polarity will be feeling cherished. If on a daily basis you feel defeated, the complementary energetic polarity will be feeling victorious. If on a daily basis you feel irritated, the complementary energetic polarity will be feeling patient. If on a daily basis you feel stressed, the complementary energetic polarity will be feeling relieved. You get the idea. If your feeling isn't on the list, I'm sure you'll figure it out. After defining the polarity of the energy you wish to experience, the next step is simply focusing on its existence in your life already. The unwanted polarity that you've been magnifying doesn't just hide the concept of a complementary energetic polarity. It also filters out the moment in your life when you experience the positive polarity. By doing so, it keeps you unaware of the wanted energy, and so it keeps the wanted energy unaware of you. The universe defines concentration as a centralization of energy, either directly, implicitly, resonantly, or reflectively. Unconsciously, you've been focusing on the experiences and aspects of your life that imply the feeling that is being magnified, leading to the unwanted reality. Unconsciously, you've been focusing on the experiences and aspects of your life that resonate with the feeling that is being magnified, leading to the unwanted reality. Unconsciously, you've been focusing on the experiences and aspects of your life that reflect the feeling that is being magnified, leading to the unwanted reality. So remember, IRR. Imply, resonate, reflect. Every time you focus on feelings or experiences or aspects of a reality that imply, resonate, or reflect, you are magnifying the unwanted reality. It's nothing to do with your reality. It's everything to do with you. It is your frequency that distorts reality to reflect your frequency. And this works positively and negatively. When we experience reality, in quote, we aren't really experiencing reality but ourselves, because you cannot see anything in reality that is not of you. Reality just is. It's neutral. But through the emotional state you hold day to day, you only focus on the parts that resonate, reflect, and imply how you feel. To shift from one pole to another simply requires you to concentrate on the pole you like to experience, excluding the pole you no longer wish to experience. You have the choice. That means focusing on the experiences and aspects of your life that reflect the energetic polarity you wish to experience. That means focusing on the experiences and aspects of your life that imply the energetic polarity you wish to experience. That means focusing on the experiences and aspects of your life that resonate with the energetic polarity you wish to experience. Instead of allowing the world to affirm how you feel, allow how you feel to affirm the world. To reiterate, pick the polarity that you would like to see magnified in your reality, and focus on the experiences and aspects of your life that confirm its existence. Whether these are significant events or not, it doesn't really matter, as there is no big or small to the infinite. There is only frequency to be compounded. I'll give a couple of examples to help you better conceptualize the process. In the case of wanting to attract a romantic partner, do you feel unlovable? The complementary energetic polarity is being lovable. Focus on the experiences and aspects of your life when people have shown you love, big or small. Immerse yourself in the feeling of that love and realize that you are lovable. Do you feel unappreciated? The complementary energetic polarity is being appreciated. Focus on the experiences and aspects of your life when people have shown you appreciation, big or small. Immerse yourself in the feeling of that appreciation and realize that you are appreciated. In the case of wanting a better job, do you feel unqualified? The complementary energetic polarity is being qualified. Focus on the experiences and aspects of your life when you have been qualified, big or small. Immerse yourself in the feeling of being qualified and realize that you are qualified. Do you feel undeserving? The complementary energetic polarity is being deserving. Focus on the experiences and aspects of your life when people have shown that you are deserving, big or small. Immerse yourself in the feeling of being deserving and realize that you deserve it. In the case of attracting more money, do you feel that money doesn't come easily to you? The complementary energetic polarity is money does come easily to you. Focus on the experiences and aspects of your life when money did come easily to you, big or small. Immerse yourself in the feeling of money coming easily to you and realize it does. This is a skill. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. But just decide at the start, it'll be easy, and let your mind do the rest. The annoying law of the universe. Principle. You can only have what you already have. And if you don't already have it, you can never have it. At first glance, the statement above seems paradoxical, but it is only paradoxical as long as you don't understand the annoying law of the universe. Until you understand the annoying law of the universe, reality will continue to be annoying, especially in the context of creating your desired reality. This law cannot be avoided. It bears repeating. You can only have what you already have. If you don't have your desired reality, then you will never have it. Yes, you read that right. You need to have your desired reality in order to have it. There's two shares in the universe, and you can't sit in both of them simultaneously. You are either in one or the other, and only one will sit in your desired reality. The first chair of the universe is wanting. You will never manifest anything you want. You can't have anything you want. Before we go deeper into this, I want to make something crystal clear. Manifesting your desired reality isn't about you. Isn't about what you understand or think. It's about what the universe understands and thinks. So we must adhere to its psyche. Within the psyche of the universe, wanting is an indication that you do not have your desired reality because you only want something that you don't have. Think about it. Do you want your current reality? No, because you already have it. But it gets a bit more intricate once you discover the unobvious connotations that the universe associates with one thing, and that is importance. The universe interprets one thing as importance. It also interprets importance as energetic space. The bigger the importance, the bigger the space in between you and your desired reality. Think about it like this. The people that need money the most have the least. The people that need money the least have the most. An unfortunate reality that should be otherwise, but don't attempt to moralize the universe. It doesn't adhere to what should be. It only adheres to what is. To simplify and reiterate, you can't have your reality, or you can't have any reality that you want, because to want is to confess that you do not have. And if you don't already have it, you can't have it. The second chair of the universe is having. This is the only way you will ever have your desired reality. This is the only way you will enter your desired reality. Reality will only give you whatever you already have, but not by your definition of having, but the universe's definition. The human definition of having pertains to the physical plane, which is playing the game backwards. Your definition of having is probably being able to see or touch your desired reality. So long as you're adhering to the definition that the universe doesn't recognize, you are speaking a language that the universe doesn't. The universe doesn't take reality to be real because reality is an illusion. So, having anything in the third dimensional doesn't mean anything to the universe. You need to have, not by the human definition, which is tied to an illusion, but by the universe's definition, which is tied to frequency. Remember? The universe's definition of having is your frequency or state of consciousness. That is more real than anything in reality. It is the mental and emotional declaration of who you are now. Think about it like this. The universe registers you by whatever frequency you put out to it. It sees your frequency as the totality of your beliefs, conviction, perception, emotionally charged thoughts, focus, reactions, and expectations. To have your desired reality by the universe's definition, each one of those attributes needs to reflect your desired reality. It's not a game of manifesting. It's a game of vibrationally aligning with your desired reality. The less you want your desired reality, the easier it's come, because the universe won't register any energetic space between you and it. How effortlessly do unwanted outcomes manifest in your life? The more you want your desired reality, the harder it'll come, because the universe will register energetic space between you and it, keeping you separate from it. How much resistance do you experience when trying to manifest what you desire? It seems as though our desires work against us, and it's because our desires are a confession that we don't have them. Those who desire approval lack the state they believe approval will put them in. Those who desire respect lack the state they believe respect will put them in. Those who desire money lack the state they believe money will put them in. Those who desire love lack the state they believe love will put them in. Have you given yourself your desired reality? Not by your definition, by the universe's definition. An unfortunate truth of reality is that nothing is lacking from us except that which we fail to give ourselves. God or the universe aren't holding back anything. They aren't holding anything back. The only way to truly have your desired reality is to give it to yourself. Desires are what you seek externally, but to seek outside of yourself is to stare into the abyss of an illusion that does not exist. If you stare unknowingly into what does not exist, how could you ever expect your desired realities to exist? What you have is what you seek for internally. And to seek inside of yourself is to stare into the truth. When you recognize this, you no longer chase illusions, but embody the reality you wish to experience. By knowing that what you seek is already present, you allow your desired realities to manifest effortlessly. Anything and everything you desire externally is simply what you are missing internally. Give yourself the reality you desire. Giving yourself the reality you desire is simply a process of internally, intensely, and vividly experiencing what you desire within instead of without. Giving yourself the reality you desire is simply a process of internally, intensely, and vividly experiencing what you desire within instead of without. When done with intensity, an internal shift will occur that diminishes the very desire that is repelling what you desire away from you. While this law is annoying, it's also liberating when you come to one realization. You possess everything you will ever need to reach any frequency or state of consciousness, which means any desired reality. Only through first acquiring the frequency or state of consciousness will you enter your desired reality. If you're not already in your desired reality, then you can never be in your desired reality. If it is more money you desire, you must already have it to have it. If it is a new car you desire, you must already have it to have it. If it is a loving and healthy relationship you desire, you must already have it to have it. The moment you have, by the universe's definition, you will have by the human definition. Before you can be in your dream reality, you must be in your dream reality in your current reality. Until you can treat your current life like it's your dream life, it can never be. The good thing about this law is that it can give you true insight into your current state of consciousness, which makes you aware of the reality you are creating. Pinpointing whether you already have what you desire only requires answering the following questions. 1. Are you good with your desired reality? 2. Are you good without your desired reality? Could you live happily if your desired reality never manifested? Would your desired reality manifesting make you happier than you are now? Would your desired reality manifesting give you more inner peace than you have now? Would your desired reality manifesting make you feel more whole and complete than you are now? Every once in a while, as you're doing the inner work and rearrangements, come back to these questions to gauge your progress. Don't bother lying. You can lie to yourself, but never to the universe. It has the ultimate lie detector, a frequency detector. The more your frequency aligns with your desired reality, the less you need your desired reality, and that's when it needs you. The annoying law of the universe is truly embodied by its complementary frequency, which is the secret frequency of not needing. And you will have touched it at some point in your life. The secret frequency of not needing is what will make your desired reality chase you. It simply has one rule, and one rule only. You can't have what you need, but you can have anything you don't need. There have been instances in your life that you have almost effortlessly been able to materialize things that you did not want. The strange thing about reality is that what we don't want or care about often comes to us effortlessly, while the things we deeply want or care for seem to resist us the most. The truths of the universe are hidden in cliches. Here are some. You finally stop looking for your keys and then they appear in plain sight. You spend hours trying to remember a name, give up, and suddenly it pops into your head. You apply to dozens of jobs and hear nothing. Then a company you weren't even chasing reaches out. You desperately want to impress somebody, yet they are not interested. But when you're just being yourself with no agenda, people are drawn to you. You chase after clients, opportunities, or sales and hit a wall. Then land a major deal out of the blue when you're relaxed and detached. You try to force creativity and nothing comes. The moment you take a break for shower, the idea downloads effortlessly. You want to sleep so badly that you can't. But the moment you stop trying, you drift off. The harder you try, the less the universe complies. The issue is this: when your desired reality feels like it can do more for you than you can do for yourself, you're unknowingly signaling to the universe that you've forgotten who you truly are. Reality only bows to the one who knows themselves. When you are anchored in your true identity, which is a materialization of God, you realize the world has nothing to offer you that you don't already possess within. From that place, you become the source, not the seeker. Too many are seekers, and too few are sources. Before you desire anything in reality, first become a source of it. If you seek money, be a source of it by tipping, donating, or giving freely. If you seek love, be a source of it by showing affection to those already in your life. If you seek appreciation, be a source of it by letting those around you know that you are grateful they are in your life. There are things in your life that you can materialize easily and even unwillingly. This is simply you unconsciously using the secret frequency of not needing. Often, the things that come to you easily are precisely those things you never actively sought or even wanted. The individual who seems to attract multiple partners more than likely isn't seeking them or wanting them. The individual who seeks to attract a multitude of opportunities more likely isn't seeking them or wanting them. The individual who always impresses those around them more than likely isn't seeking to impress them. This power might seem mystical or even magical, but it's not. It's something you've been using your entire life. Like most things, the shift isn't about discovering something new, but about moving from unconscious use to conscious mastery. There are things that come naturally to you, skills, talents, manifestations that flow with ease for you, but with which others struggle. You may not even recognize them as special because they feel effortless to you. But that effortlessness is the power. Don't let your desire for what you don't have blind you to the areas where you're already powerful. Whether it's communication, creativity, dancing, making money, attracting opportunities, solving problems, or making people laugh. There's something you do with ease that others admire or wish they could replicate. Only you know what that is. And don't be so foolish to think there's nothing. If you think there's nothing, that's just your old frequency keeping your power hidden from you. The irony is, you probably see your magic as nothing special. Chances are you dismiss as insignificant or overlook entirely those things you already manifested or manifest effortlessly through the secret frequency of not needing. But that effortless flow, the thing you barely think twice about, is the source of your magic. What feels like nothing to you is the very source of power. Practical. When you desire nothing, the world will seek to give you everything. Biblically, Yeshua was approached by the devil in the desert, who offered him all the kingdoms of the world, everything he could see, if he would simply bow down in submission. But the only reason such an offer was made is because Yeshua was unmoved by everything. There was nothing the world could give him, because once you realize your true identity as part of the infinite, the material becomes insignificant. When you know who you are, the world has nothing to offer, and that's precisely when it tries to offer you everything. The thing that do nothing for you will seek to do everything for you. The things that do nothing for you will seek to do everything for you. Remember, however, the things that do everything for you will end up doing nothing for you. To the universe, obsession is repulsion. To the universe, desperation is disrespect. The moment you detach from your desire, it'll do everything to attach itself to you. Activating the secret frequency of not needing simply requires you to look at your desired reality in the same way you look at the things you don't want that you easily materialize. Look at your desired reality as unimportant. Look at your desired reality as insignificant. Look at your desired reality as if it is nothing. Through minimizing your perception towards your desired reality, you neutralize it. You normalize it in your subconscious mind, making it normal in your reality. You have given yourself so many things that you already effortlessly materialize, that you are almost tired of them or moved by them. That same energy must be applied to your desired reality. Luckily, the more you use this technique prescribed for manifestation, the more you naturally set it into motion, since you are giving yourself what the world hopes to give you. On earth as it is in heaven. Principle: no heaven, no manifestation. You will not materialize your desired reality until you live in heaven. There are prerequisites to materializing your desired reality, and one of them is entering heaven, not in the religious sense of a particular location in the afterlife, but in the metaphysical sense. Most people make the mistake of attempting to materialize their desired reality without realizing that the frequency in which they live and exist is in direct opposition to what they want. It's safe to say that most of the world live in hell. And You can only ever be where you are. In the religious sense, hell and heaven are locations in the afterlife that one enters depending on how they lived their lives in accordance to the will of their God. But these two locations exist on earth, specifically within your consciousness. Quote, "Nor will they say, 'See here,' or 'See there,' for indeed the kingdom of God is within you." End quote. Luke 17:21. Christ stated very plainly that the kingdom of God, which is synonymous with heaven, isn't outside of you or in the sky, but within you. This idea directly contradicts the notion of heaven being location in the afterlife, as religious institutions have been marketing to the masses for thousands of years. For more context, Christ was talking to the people and explaining how others will point you to a place and say that the kingdom of God is here or there, but you should not fall for it, because the kingdom of God is within you. The idea of heaven being within you should lead to an internal restructuring and redefining of what heaven is. How can you go to a place that is within you? Why would I have to die to go to a place that is within me? How is it that when you die, you will go to heaven, but Christ says it is within you? To reaffirm Luke 17:21, in the lost gospel of Thomas, Christ explains the concept. Jesus said, "If those who lead you say to you, 'See, the kingdom is in the sky,' then the birds of the sky are closer than you. If they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish already know it. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you." The truth is, until heaven is metaphysically defined, your desired reality will be confined. Heaven isn't a location in the afterlife. It is the immersion into the formless state of absolute awareness, a unification with the infinite intelligence, also known as God. In this unification with God, the mind is unburdened by attachment, resistance, temporal limitation, desire, wants or needs, and it requires nothing, for it has everything. Heaven isn't a place, but a realization, the direct knowing of self as the infinite, unfragmented whole. In this state, separation from God dissolves, suffering ceases, and experience aligns with effortless inner calm, peace, and bliss. The irony is, whether you realize this or not, you have touched heaven at some point in your life. That inner stillness, peace, calm, where you were in complete fulfillment and felt whole, desiring nothing, because you felt connected to everything. Heaven is not a place you go to, but a place you realize is already here within you. It is a silent backdrop behind all illusion, accessible the moment one surrenders the need to seek the world for what only it can give you. Hell, being the energetic polarity of heaven, is also not a particular location in the afterlife like heaven. It is a state of consciousness, a frequency in which many do not realize they are already living. Hell is immersion into the physical plane, a lack of awareness for the other planes of existence, leading one to be consumed by the ego, which takes the world around to be the only truth, also known as the devil. This unification with the devil, the ego, a consciousness burdened by attachment, resistance, temporal limitation, desire, wants, and needs, requires everything due to a distortion in perception where one fails to realize one has everything. Hell isn't a place, but a failure to realize and see oneself as the infinite, unfragmented whole. Hell is often described as a separation from God, but since God is omnipresent, that doesn't make sense. Hell is misalignment from God. This misalignment leads to suffering, inner chaos, conflict, and restlessness, despite the illusion that material possessions can resolve those things. The irony is, whether you realize this or not, you have touched hell at some point in your life. The inner chaos and conflict where you felt a lack of fulfillment or completion, leading to a sense of being disconnected. Nobody can escape the truth that reality is nothing more than immaterialized frequency, and any frequency maintained will be materialized. Many desire heaven while maintaining a frequency which resonates with hell. Those who live in a hellish state can only experience hell, and those who live in a heavenly state can only experience heaven. The path to heaven can only be walked by those in heaven. Reality will never precede consciousness. Effect will never precede cause. You can only have what you already have. And if the frequency you are emanating to the universe is hellish, it cannot possibly not bring you to heaven. Apple seeds will never produce mangoes, and mango seeds will never produce apples. This is a simple truth in the world of nature, and it reflects how the universe works. In the modern day, hell is equivalent to living in survival mode. From a neuroscientific point of view, when one is living in survival mode, it is typically due to a lack of safety, which triggers the primal brain into operation. The primal brain has no other purpose than survival, fight or flight, and nothing else. While survival mode is often associated with poverty, paradoxically, wealthy people also live in survival mode. Since the primal brain is responsible for flight or fight, its only concern is surviving by hyper-focusing on what is immediately in front of it. This zeroing in on reality restricts our level of awareness, which means a limited perspective. This reduction in awareness and perspective shuts down higher levels of thinking, since survival is the priority. A lower level of awareness will always lead to reality being distorted to reflect the lower aspects of one's nature, which will always correlate with negativity. Hell is directly opposed to the materialization of your desired reality metaphysically. In neuroscientific terms, it is specifically opposed to your brain waves. The alteration of reality requires an alteration of one's frequency or one's state of consciousness, which requires an alteration of one's subconscious mind. The subconscious mind becomes more accessible in certain brainwave states, allowing for deeper influence and transformation. By leveraging the optimal brainwave frequencies, you can achieve more with less effort as your mind becomes more receptive to change. To revert to the point initially made at the start of this chapter, until you can enter heaven, you will not be able to enter your desired reality. This is due to the fact that what we metaphysically consider to be heaven when it comes to brainwaves is the door to the subconscious mind. There are various brainwaves that the brain cycles throughout the day. 1. Beta waves, 12 to 30 hertz. 2. Alpha waves, 8 to 12 hertz. 3. Theta waves, 4 to 8 hertz. And 4. Delta waves, 0.5 to 4 hertz. Beta waves are associated with being awake, alert, and active. It is a standard mode of operation in our day-to-day life. Alpha waves are associated with a meditative, relaxed state. It is the state before drowsiness. Theta waves are associated with deep meditation, a trance-like state which is typically used in hypnosis and is equivalent to a drowsy state. Delta waves are associated with deep sleep. The slower the brain waves, the closer they are to the subconscious mind. Beta waves are produced during conscious operation, and so long as the conscious mind is present, the subconscious mind won't be. Think about these wave states like trains. The slower the brain wave state, the easier it is to catch a ride to the subconscious mind. The slow trains are your only entry into the subconscious mind. Most people make the mistake of attempting to give the subconscious mind their desired reality to materialize while operating in a brainwave state that prioritizes the conscious mind. To put it in another way, they are trying to catch the fast trains which only lead to the conscious mind and not the subconscious mind. The brain waves we produce are interconnected with either heaven or hell. Those who live in a survival state of consciousness rarely relax. Their alertness means they mainly produce beta waves, which are the fastest waves that call upon the operation of the conscious mind and not the subconscious mind. Therefore, all attempts to alter their frequency or state of consciousness or subconscious mind are made in vain. They are trying to catch a train that does not lead to the subconscious mind. Those who live in a survival state of consciousness live in hell, and those who live in hell produce beta waves, which means they never access the subconscious mind. Those who live in a survival state of consciousness live in hell, and those who live in hell produce beta waves, which means they never access their subconscious mind. Could this be the reason so many of those who live in survival mode struggle to alter their minds? Alternatively, those who live in a heavenly state of consciousness are always relaxed, mainly producing alpha and theta waves, which are slower and lead to the subconscious rather than conscious mind. Therefore, all attempts to alter their frequency or state of consciousness of subconscious mind are effortless and successful because they are trying to catch a train that leads to the subconscious mind. It is much easier for a car to drive on smooth, calm roads than roads filled with bumps and potholes. In the same manner, it is much easier for a boat to sail on calm waters. The more relaxed you are day to day, the more likely your brain will be producing waves that are conducive to what you're trying to put into your subconscious mind. The less relaxed you are, the less likely your brain will be producing waves that are conducive to what you are trying to put in your brain. The truth of brain waves and their interconnection to the two states of consciousness is highlighted esoterically in John 3:27. Quote, John answered and said, "A man can receive nothing except it be given from heaven." A man can receive nothing except it be given from heaven. Nothing you desire on this physical plane will ever be attained unless you are already in the frequency of being in heaven. Metaphysically, to live in a heavenly state is to exist within inner calm. Metaphysically, to live in a heavenly state is to exist with inner calm, peace, bliss, fulfillment, and to desire nothing, which will indicate to the universe that you have everything. It's likely that the attainment of your desired reality will produce the state above. So, the state above will produce the attainment of your desired reality. Inner calm, peace, bliss, fulfillment, and a desire for nothing. Attaining your desired reality will bring you peace, inner calm, and bliss. So, peace, inner calm, and bliss can also bring your desired reality. Relaxation is the prerequisite for brainwaves that allow for easy access to the subconscious mind, which is the womb of reality. To receive, the prerequisite is to be in a heavenly state. Conversely, those in hell never receive. Another Bible verse encapsulates what I call the heavenly order of manifestation. Quote, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." Matthew 6:33. Here, the heavenly order of manifestation is established, revealed. Before seeking the materiality of your desired reality, instead of seeing the money, the wealth, the partner, the career, or whatever it is you desire, you must first seek a heavenly state of consciousness. Calm the waters before you set sail. Here's the issue. Part of you believes that once you get your desired reality, you will feel complete, fulfilled, satisfied, calm, and relaxed, without realizing that if you aren't already those things, you cannot have them. The bigger problem is that you don't have them currently. Then You indicate to the universe that you have their opposites, which are emptiness, unfulfillment, dissatisfaction, and chaos, which are what will be reflected. Anytime that you go against the heavenly order of manifestation, you unconsciously descend into the hellish order of manifestation, which will only lead to hell. If you put your desires above heaven, then your desires will always be out of reach until you recognize that where you think you'll be after getting your desired reality is where you need to start from. You will never arrive. The end is where we begin. Seek first to be internally fulfilled, satisfied, calm, and relaxed without your desired reality, and all the things you want will be given to you, because to be in that state indicates to the universe that you already have them. The universe will never bow before the one who bows before illusion. The only way to get those things you desire is to enter heaven by first giving them to yourself, not in the humanistic way, but the universal way. At this point, it should be clear that relaxation is the prerequisite to revealing your desired reality. That's non-negotiable. Practical. Relaxation is your natural state, which I understand seems counterintuitive given the hectic, stressful nature of today's world. If relaxation is the mandatory step to manifesting your desired reality, those who are never relaxed can never truly materialize their desired reality. True relaxation arises from disconnecting from the outside world. And that is because it is the world that seeks to keep you from relaxation. It seeks to siphon your peace of mind by getting you to focus on work, your inadequacies, family dramas, politics, or the latest war. How can you relax when the mind is so preoccupied? I'm not suggesting you neglect the outside world. Rather, I'm encouraging you to pay attention to your inner world. So when you pay attention to the world, it receives what it deserves from you. Relaxation is when the mind is Relaxation is when the mind is occupied by nothing. Only you can make yourself relaxed. Anything that can make you relaxed can take that feeling away. And true relaxation is independent of any person, any condition, and any circumstance. Whatever the world gives you, it can take from you. And at some point, it most definitely will. To immerse yourself into nothingness, to reach that inner stillness, is the true pathway to relaxation. To seek refuge in the inner world instead of the outer world is how you are granted protection by the heavenly government. To be still is to do nothing. Whether you meditate or not, make a practice of doing nothing. Naturally, the mind will begin to tell you how difficult it is to relax. But that is the old frequency speaking. It wants to exist without relaxation, as it knows that is the stepping stone to your new frequency. Difficulty aside, what other choice do you have than to relax?